Welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad. And on this episode, we'll be exploring number 5 from AFI's 100 Years, 100 Passions, the 100 Greatest Love Stories of All Time.
All right, number 5 is An Affair to Remember. Released in 1957, directed by Leo McCarey, starring Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr.
The synopsis for this romantic drama is as follows. Well-known playboy Nicky Ferranti, played by Cary Grant, meets Terry McKay, Deborah Kerr, aboard a transatlantic ocean liner en route from Europe to New York. They are romantically involved with others, but establish a flirty friendship. When Terry joins Nicky on a short visit while the ship is anchored near his grandmother's home on the Mediterranean coast, she sees Nicky with new eyes and their feelings deepen. During the visit, she learns from his grandmother that Nicky is a talented but frustrated painter. As the ship approaches New York City, they agree to reunite at the top of the Empire State Building in 6 months if they have succeeded in ending their relationships and starting new careers. On the day of their rendezvous, Terry gets distracted hurrying to the Empire State Building and is hit by a car. Gravely injured, she is hurried to the hospital. Meanwhile, Nicky is waiting for her on the observation deck. After waiting several hours, he leaves believing she has rejected him. After the accident, Terry remains unable to walk and refuses to contact Nicky because of her disability. Nicky has pursued his painting and Terry works as a music teacher. 6 months after the accident, they encounter each other at the ballet. He doesn't realize her condition because she is seated. They both say hello and Nicky leaves. Nicky learns her address and pays her a surprise visit on Christmas Eve. Despite his attempts to coax her to explain her actions, Terry dodges the subject and remains lying on the couch. He gives Terry a shawl from his grandmother who has died. As he is leaving, Nicky mentions a painting which he had been working on when they first met and that the gallery had just given away to a woman who liked it but had no money. He is about to say that the woman was in a wheelchair when he pauses, suspecting why Terry hasn't left the couch. He walks into her bedroom and sees the painting, his suspicions realized. They embrace and Terry says, "If you can paint, I can walk. Anything can happen, don't you think?" We're at the sad love story.
It is
part
so
of the,
good,
part of the
though.
program.
It's so good.
It's really, really good. So on the side list, on the movies that we're reviewing that didn't make this list for one reason or another, we did see Love Affair, which came out in the 30s, and this is a remake of that movie. This is definitely the superior movie, largely because of the chemistry between the leads.
Yeah, Deborah Kerr and Cary Grant are just...
They have a lot of chemistry, and you kind of have to believe that they have this really instant, deep connection.
Which I think you really see it.
You really see it, and it's like, you've got these two people, and they're kind of in a confined space, so to speak, on a boat, and they keep running into each other, and
he's like seen as this big playboy who's like about to settle down and get married.
Yeah, it's like a big deal because his family's got a lot of money, and
and she and so everybody's really into what he's doing, so they're watching him a lot.
Yeah,
and then she's just giving him a bad time because she's like, "Oh, you're the great," like really giving him.
And I mean they're super, super flirty. Which,
yes,
they don't ever cross a line, but man, do they skirt up against it.
They really do. Yeah,
he's engaged, and she is in a pretty serious relationship.
Right. Which I've said before, I really think she stayed with that guy because she felt obligated.
Yeah, it was because
he kind of helped her.
Yeah.
With her career and.
Well, he helped her out of a tough time in her life too.
Yeah.
And she does feel she loves him, but she's not in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
She loves him like a big brother, I think, more than as a romantic partner.
Yeah.
And then Nicky is kind of fly by night, and he's always had a different woman, and then he meets her, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay."
She's kind of her own person, and she's not falling at my feet.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah,
she's probably the first woman that's challenged him to some extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And doesn't just fall for
right.
He's very charming, so this is the first one that's just been like, yeah, you're charming, but what else you got?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, Mister, you're the best, you know.
Yeah.
It's a really good story. I liked the play with him and his grandmother and her and his grandmother.
I think that's super important to the story because
Mm-hmm.
it shows that he's more than what everyone thinks that he is.
Yeah.
You know, we find out about his talent as a painter, but we also find out his humanity. He clearly adores this woman.
Yeah, he does.
He loves his grandmother so much. And, you know, the fact that he took time out of this vacation to specifically see her and, you know, not only that, but the people that work for his grandmother, he knows them very, very well. He knows them by their first name, knows their children. It just shows a really different side of him. And that's what she sees for the first time. She's like, oh,
yeah,
there is something behind all of that.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah, and they really, like, get to know each other on this boat. What happened to, like, cruises like this? Like, we've watched a couple movies where they're, like, on a cruise and...
They're called airplanes.
Well, I mean, it just seems, like, very romantic and...
Yeah, but I mean, you've been on a boat. Do you want to be on a boat for, like, 6 weeks?
I mean, but it was different. It wasn't, like, these huge moving hotels. You know what I mean? Like, it was, like...
Makes it kind of worse.
Oh, well, I don't know. It seems kind of romantic. I don't know.
We were just talking, like literally, we were over dinner. We were talking about because there was like a cruise ship commercial or whatever.
Oh yeah, nobody's cruising anymore.
Like no one's going on a cruise now that COVID's around.
Yeah,
so.
it's too bad. But yeah. So really, hold on, I missed my notes here. Lots of chemistry. My thing was, and let me pose this question to you. Why do you think she didn't tell him what happened?
I think she's afraid that he won't see her the same way that he saw her before. Like he saw, that was, I think she realizes what attracted him was all of her strength. And now she doesn't feel like she's that woman anymore.
Okay.
She feels more than ordinary now.
Yeah.
She's just simply a school teacher. She's not an aspiring singer, and she can't really do anything with him anymore. I mean, when he sees her at the ballet, that's the first time that her ex-fiance, who's like, honestly, let's get
good on this guy.
Let's give this guy like an MVP award because he is a really, really good friend to her.
Yes.
And he's not like he doesn't play this like jealous ex-lover, and he's not trying to like shoehorn himself into her life romantically. He is completely there for her as a friend. He is the one that's been trying to get her to contact Nikki.
Yes. She's like, you need to tell him. She doesn't want it.
Yeah.
And he was very conflicted. He was like, do I tell him anyway? Do I not?
Yeah, he's balancing it like, she really needs to do this, but I also don't want to, kind of, go behind her back to do it. I have a feeling that's how he ended up getting the address, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not on screen, but that's kind of my headcanon is Nikki somehow gets her address. We don't really find out how.
Yeah.
And we think that's it's probably.
I think so. Maybe he approached him and said, "Hey, I've been looking for her," and then he's like, "Okay, he knows."
I think it's probably more clandestine than that. I think it just kind of left something at the gallery or something like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, what was her friend's name? What was his name?
I can't remember his name, but...
Charles?
Is it Charles? I don't
feel like it was Charles. But anyway, he was, like, just a stand-up dude.
Yeah.
Like, he was really helping her out, and he wanted her to be happy.
Yeah, and he obviously took the breaking of their engagement, maturely.
Yeah.
He didn't kick this woman out of her life or anything like that.
No, I mean, he was butthurt for a minute, which totally understood.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. But then he came around and was like, look. And then she, like, hurt herself, and he was like, she doesn't have anybody, and he was there for her, which is pretty amazing. So you could understand why she was so hesitant to fall for Nikki and, like, leave this guy. But she was like, I owe it to myself to try to do this. Yeah. And then she gets hit by a car. And
frankly, we see this story in a slightly different way in Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah. So there's what's her boyfriend's name? Is it Norman?
Yes.
Norman. And then Tom Hanks is dating this totally annoying woman that his son doesn't like. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, should they take this leap of faith and like, I mean, the whole scenario of, look,
but in their
let's separate for 6 months. Let's get our shit together. Let's get things capped off and done, and then let's be with each other. We'll meet the Empire State Building.
Yeah, but Sleepless in Seattle is a little different because they never have met.
Right.
They meet at the Empire State Building.
That's right.
So they take cues from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
They even mentioned.
Oh, they mentioned there's a big thing about that.
Yeah, there's a whole big
movie.
thing about that. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We both liked this one. You liked it a little more than I did. I gave it a 66. Jerry gave it a 78, so the list score is 72.
All right. If you have any comments or you want to talk about this movie, please leave a comment on this video. If you'd like to get in touch with us privately, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. For now, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.